Oh, that was great. So inhaling through the yawn really helped. Let's keep going. Time. Now I feel like, oh my gosh, I have too much breath in my lungs. So I want to make sure I'm not over breathing. Hey Voxstar, and welcome to From Singer to Artist. I'm Lara Chapman, award-winning singer and songwriter turned viral vocal coach and the host of this show. At VoxTape Studios, we help singers from all over the world level up their voices by teaching them the 3 fundamental skills all singers need: technique, awareness, and artistry. Whether you're looking to go pro or just develop your voice for fun, my team and I are here to help. Check the link in the description to book your first session or grab some of our other resources. Alrighty, are you ready? Let's get started. You know those days where your voice is feeling a lot less than great and you feel like no matter what you do, you can't seem to get it warm, you can't seem to just, get into that flow of, singing your songs. And today is one of those days for me. My voice is feeling stiff, it's feeling heavy, and I already know it's gonna need quite a bit more love than it usually would to get warmed up so that I can still, use my voice for the day, whether that's a performance or just a practice session. But I do know I need a longer, more extensive, more in-depth warm-up. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to warm up together, and this is going to be a more extensive warm-up than what I would normally do. So if you too are feeling a little vocally tired, a little stiff, just a little off, then it might be good to invest that extra time to really get your voice warmed up before you start belting or performing or whatever it is that you're trying to do with your voice, because then that could lead to quite a bit of tension, and we definitely don't want that. Before we dig into the actual warm-up, I want to quickly talk about why you could be feeling this way. For me, it was because I was filming all day yesterday and I was doing a lot of singing and a lot of talking, and stupid little me didn't do a vocal cool down. And cool downs can be really helpful to just kind of get your voice into shape for the next day. And I unfortunately skipped that. Lesson learned, don't do that again. So yeah, it could be because you had a vocally heavy day the day before. It could be because of a lack of sleep or stress or dehydration, or you're just not feeling that great today, or just a myriad of reasons, honestly. The voice is unique as an instrument in the sense of we're always battling with a certain level of inconsistency because your instrument is your body. So things like lack of sleep and dehydration and stress and getting sick and all of these things do affect your instrument. So that's why we struggle with a little bit of inconsistency sometimes compared to when we're playing piano or guitar. Of course, sometimes our fingers feel a little stiff there too, but not nearly to the level as we feel the inconsistency in singing. So whenever you are feeling this way and, you're like, my voice is just not where it is, usually be gentle with yourself and be patient with yourself. I know that is very hard, especially, if you are a perfectionist, or especially if you have a gig that you need to get to. You're like, no, not today. Why is my voice out of all days failing me today? So, be gentle with yourself. Take it slow. Feel into your body. Pay attention to what singing feels like rather than what making these sounds like. And just take it easy, be gentle. Okay, so let's actually do our nice little warm up. So we're going to start with just feeling into our body and see where am I feeling any sort of tightness. So for me, I felt quite tight in my back earlier today. So what I did was just a couple roll-ups, like standing up, folding forward, and then slowly but gently vertebrae by vertebrae, roll back up to standing. And I did that a couple times. And that already helped me a lot to just feel a little bit better in my spine, in my back. So for you, figure out, are you feeling any tension in your body? And then especially in your face, are you feeling any tension in your face? So for me, I tend to hold quite a bit of tension in my jaw. So what I like to do on these days where I need a little bit of extra love is just take my fists, my knuckles, push them between my cheekbone up here and my jawbone down here, okay? So right in between, as close to my ear as possible. So not up here, right by my cheek, but further back, close to my ears. And then just start massaging here. If you want, you can start sighing to it as well, but not something like, ah, already like crazy range or anything like that. Really more just like, just kind of like letting go some sighs, okay? But you don't have to. You can really just stay here and massage. I'm definitely feeling it. On super, super, super bad days, I'm even feeling this in my temples up here too. So today, I do feel it a little. It's not too bad, but I do feel it in my temples up here. So I would just go in and massage here slightly as well. But today that's not too bad. So just, everybody feels it differently. Figure out where are you feeling your tension. So for me, it's more the jaw. Yeah, definitely. I'm feeling it here. My masseter muscle is what this is called. That big muscle that's responsible for opening and closing your jaw, for chewing, right? That muscle right here is a little tense and tight for me today. Another thing I like doing is take my index finger and underneath my earlobe, go and push in there against my jaw bone and muscle. And so just pushing in here and holding while keeping my mouth open, not completely closing your mouth. Just keep that mouth open to, drop it open however much feels comfortable for you. You don't have to go like super big open, but just drop that jaw open. I'm not even moving my fingers. I'm just pushing in here. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then another thing I can do is just drag my fingers then down around the corner of my jawbone. Like underneath your earlobe, if you just keep following down that jawbone, you feel that corner there. So I like to just stretch or like massage, slide down there with my index finger. You can take 2 fingers too, whatever feels good to you. Just kind of massaging here. So that's what I like to do with my jaw. For my tongue, you can either take a paper towel and do some tongue stretches. What I've been doing recently is actually taking a little skewer and pushing that underneath my tongue. It gives me more of a stretch than the paper towel. So if you have like a skewer or a thin pencil or pen or just something thin that you can put underneath your tongue that's sturdy, because we don't want it to bend or anything like this. And then I just lock that in underneath my tongue. So I'm putting it on my bottom teeth and then curl my tongue around it like this. And then I'm locking in the tip of my tongue behind my bottom teeth to just, lock that skewer into place. And then all I need to do is just stay here. What I want to make sure is that I am relaxing my jaw and my lips. Okay, so not like this. That's not relaxed. If you're watching the video, you can definitely tell the difference, right? So just dropping the jaw open and relaxing the lips and the entire face, and then just breathe here. I'm focusing on pushing my tongue forward a little bit as well, so that, I'm really feeling that stretch in the back of my tongue. And last but not least, for my neck, what I like to do as well is just kind of like anchor my collarbone with my opposite arm. So if I'm using my right collarbone, I'm using my left arm to push down that collarbone and the muscles attached to it, of course. And then look sideways and up to really feel that stretch in the side of my neck here. So I kind of like have to play around with the position of my neck to feel like, okay, where am I feeling the stretch the most? For me, that's right here. I'm feeling it right down here where I'm holding down that collarbone. If you want to get that stretch even deeper, push your chin up and forward. Kind of like creating an underbite like this. And look up and sideways. And then you can feel that stretch even deeper. And then obviously the other side as well. So left collarbone with your right hand, hold it down, tilt your head to the side and up till you find that right position where you feel the stretch the most. Push your jaw forward if you want a deeper stretch. And then you feel that on the side of your neck. And so, play around with that. See where are you feeling the tightest, the most tension, and just do some stretching and relax into these stretches. Once you're done with that, we actually get to singing. Yay! So sometimes if I'm not sitting at a piano, what I actually like to do is just humming and exploring my range. But because I'm sitting in front of a piano, and to make it a little bit easier for you to follow along too as well, we're actually going to do this on a scale. You do want to start wherever your voice feels the most comfortable and not like already in a range where it's like, oh my God, this is already difficult to do. So we're going to start down here and just humming over a fifth. I'm keeping it really light. And not that's already too much. And then we just go up. And again, keep it light. Focus on that breath flow. Still light. One more. Great, and now here, we're not super high at all yet. I'm staying in my comfortable range. Now that I've reached, the end of my range where I'm like, okay, I would have to start putting in more effort to get these notes out. I'm going to pause there and just hum down, slow slide down on a hum. Already, I'm feeling the mucus on my vocal folds wanting to vibrate loose, essentially. So if you are feeling like you have to clear your throat, instead of going like, that's not that great. That is a little scratchy for your vocal folds. What I like to do is just swallow a bunch. That will also sometimes like get that mucus out, like off of your vocal folds and then, away and, down into your digestive system. Just getting that mucus off that way rather than doing that kind of stuff, okay? But I'm feeling it. Might even sound weird if I'm like, like doing any sort of vocal exercise. That phlegm might, come loose even more, and then it kind of makes me sound weird. That is all a part of the process. If you're dehydrated, then you feel extra phlegm on your vocal folds, because that's a way for your vocal folds to protect themselves. They create this extra layer of mucus, of phlegm, to protect themselves so that they're not so dry. And so if you are dehydrated, you're going to feel more of that than when you're not dehydrated. So I'm going to take a little bit of water to make sure that I can stay hydrated. Obviously, this does not touch my vocal folds. Like as you're drinking, it takes time for your body to absorb that water. So this means I didn't drink enough water yesterday, and I'm now feeling the consequences of that today, right? So if you are preparing for a performance, make sure you drink a ton of water the day before. Alrighty, so that's humming. The next thing I like to do is some sort of SOVT exercise. So SOVT stands for semi-occluded vocal tract. And basically what that means is there's just a really small opening in your mouth, and most of the sound gets pushed back down into your vocal tract, reducing your phonation threshold pressure. Another fancy word. Basically, what that means is it takes less effort to create sound. Which, don't we all just love that? So there's a couple different things you can do. The most famous SOVT sound is lip trills. Another one would be the pufferfish or the blowfish, where you're inflating your cheeks a lot and just have a very small opening where the sound comes out. And it's still coming out of your mouth, not your nose. So if I close my nose like this, I can still get that sound out through a tiny opening in my lips. But again, my cheeks are inflated like a pufferfish or a blowfish, okay? Then you can also do tongue trills like or a raspberry. There's a lot of different options that you can do. For today, I'm going to get out my Risono by Vox to just do some straw phonation. I really enjoy straw phonation. I like it a lot. It really helped me get my voice back when I had a vocal injury, when I had vocal nodules. So I love my Risono. So I'm going to use that, but it's up to you. Whatever kind of SOVT sound you want to use, I'm totally fine with me. So here, I could do the same thing and just go that kind of stuff. But again, we're going to do it on a scale for today. You can also take the straw and do bubbles in water to get even more of like that massaging effect. You don't have to use the Vox Risono straw. You can use any straw. If it has a big opening, try and pinch it closed at the bottom a little bit, not completely, of course, but just a little bit to reduce the opening to feel more of that SOVT effect. Another thing you can do is, if you have a metal straw, it's just kind of like partially close the opening at the bottom with your finger. So again, the opening basically becomes smaller and you feel more of that back pressure. I don't have to do that because of the Risono. So anyways, makes it just a little bit easier. We're going to do this slide over a fifth and then over an octave like this. So first I'm doing that fifth slide like we did on humming, and then I'm going up to the entire octave as well. Keep it nice and slidey between the notes and not but like this. And again, we're still keeping it super light and easy, no pushing and no loud volume, okay? So one thing I just noticed was my tongue wanted to curl up a little bit and retract a little bit inside of my mouth. And I was like, oh, hold on. Let's not do that. Keep that tongue nice and relaxed, just at the bottom of your mouth. Okay, I'm feeling myself trying to push a little bit for that volume. I'm going to do that again at a quieter volume. Again. Okay, so up here, I'm starting to feel like, oh, okay, I'm pushing a little. So whenever you're feeling that, if you watched the video or heard the episode on how to practice with tracks, you already know this, but whenever you start feeling like, ooh, hold on, I'm starting to push, and when you're practicing with a track, stay there until it's like, okay, this is feeling better, and then keep going rather than just blindly following a track. That was much better already. One more. Okay, we're gonna go back down. Yeah, so down here, we're obviously much lower than where we started, but I do like to explore the high notes first before I go down into my low notes, just because I know I have the tendency of having a voice that is too heavy, too stiff, rather than lacking power. So I always like to explore flexibility and agility and high notes first, just to keep my voice light. Talking about high notes, let's do that next. So we already went pretty high, but now I want to get into flageolet territory. Some people call it flageolet. Some people don't have a term for it. It doesn't really matter. Whatever it is you want to call it is totally fine with me. But we're just going to go up into the stratosphere a little bit, and we're going to explore this on the quietest, squeakiest, tiniest little sound that you can possibly make, because we don't want to push for these high notes, but rather, let the vocal folds stretch long to get to the high notes, okay? So we're going to start somewhere right here on a little whoo sound, okay? So the opening in my lips is incredibly small. It almost gives you a little bit of that SOVT effect compared to hoo, 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 hoo. That would just be hoo, but we're going a little smaller. Okay, keep it nice and small and quiet. This is the most important part about this exercise. Keep it nice and quiet. The exercise goes like this. We're jumping all over the board a little bit on purpose so that we're not, building up too much weight and too much strength, but we're keeping it light because we're literally bouncing all over the place here a little bit. So let's do that again, getting used to this scale. One more time. Again, keep it nice and small and keep it light. Let's do the exercise together. Really use those H's rather than there's no H there. All right, so every time you start the notes, re-attack with that H. to get the breath flow going without getting louder. I'm gonna do this one more time because I feel like it could have felt 5% easier. One more time. There you go. Hear how this does not sound pretty? It sounds kind of squeaky. That's the whole purpose of this exercise. Again. That was flat. Try again. Okay, I hear how I'm consistently going a little flat on this top notes. Now we are on C sharp 6. We are very high up here. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not ready to give up on it yet. I tried 3 times. I'm not ready yet, though, to give up on it. So I'm going to start making adjustments to what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to use just a little bit more of that breath flow. I'm going to lean into those H's a little more. Now that was all the way up on the note. Now I'm going to try that one more time, reduce the volume by 5%. The first one was better than this one. One more time. Okay, I'm starting to feel a little closed off in my throat. Maybe my neck muscles are engaging a little bit, so I'm gonna just shake my head loose. That felt better. One more thing I want to do, just a tendency that I have, is my larynx tends to get stuck too high a little. So I'm going to inhale through a yawn to start with a neutral larynx. Of course, we're incredibly high, meaning your larynx will be much higher than where it normally would be. That is totally normal, okay? But again, for me, I just know that my larynx tends to get just a little stuck and my neck muscles start engaging, and it's just, again, it gives me that stuck feeling. So I know that about myself so that I can make changes. So I'm like, okay, inhaling through a yawn before I get started and shaking my head loose and seeing if that helps. Oh, that was great. So inhaling through the yawn really helped. Let's keep going. Time. Now I feel like, oh my gosh, I have too much breath in my lungs. So I want to make sure I'm not over breathing. So close. No, I already felt from the beginning that that one was not going to be it. One more time. Okay, so we're on E6 here. I'm almost there, not quite. I'm like, okay, this is high enough. I already feel very different now when I'm speaking. My voice feels much less heavy because I'm so used to the stretch now. All we got to do is now go back down. We're going to go down in half steps though rather than full steps. Use your breath, Lara. That's a lot better. There you go. Okay, Nice. So again, with this, the goal is to go as humanly high as possible for you specifically, right? Whatever that is for you. But did you see, like, I started feeling like, oh, okay, hold on. I need to make some adjustments around B flat, this note right here. But I went all the way up to E6. Couldn't really get that one. I got the E flat, not really the E today, which is totally fine. That's where I'm at today, which is great. But, you know, like, don't start giving up as soon as you're like, okay, hold on, this is starting to feel weird. I'm going to go turn back around. Like, no, stay here. Try again and again and again and make adjustments. Breathe in through a yawn to reset that larynx. Shake your head loose. Hold into your fists into your jaw. Whatever it is that you need to do to start, making some adjustments to get the notes out a little bit more easily. If after try 5 to 7, it's still not quite there, turn around and call it a day for that specific exercise up there, okay? But again, keep trying, stay there, try again and again before you give up. Alrighty, next up, we have an agility exercise. So this flageolet exercise that we did, the is kind of agility already because we're jumping all over the board a little bit. But I do want to do another exercise again because today is an extra bad voice day. So I want to go that extra mile and do another agility exercise. Also kind of helps me with my tongue as well, which is nice. And same thing here, I'm jumping all over the board and I want to keep it pretty quick. Then I'm not really working on agility. So it's NG to ah, like AH. The only thing that's moving in my face is my tongue in the back. It goes from touching the roof of my mouth to releasing, to touching, to releasing, to touching, to releasing, right? So, that's the only movement I'm doing here. I'm not moving my jaw at all. So let's try it together. So it's you're hitting that top note 6 times. Oops, sorry. Don't slow down. So here I'm getting a little more mixy and not you know, like that's not the purpose of this exercise. We want to keep it light and agile. Feeling a little phlegmy. Oh, that was awful, but like sounded awful, but that's okay. We're paying attention to what singing feels like rather than what it sounds like. So I'm like right in my break here. Top note is C5. Yeah, C5. So it's like, oh my gosh. One more time. That's a little more head dominant, but I'm going to stick to that for now. So the trickiest part for me is that transition, right? Like where we're getting more mixy, more head dominant. So, you know, just keeping it light there is key for me here with this agility exercise. But this is just kind of like an extra thing, not super necessary, but I like to do some more agility exercises like this when I have a pretty bad vocal day. But let's move on. Let's actually do... Okay, so 2 different ways you can do this one. You can either do it on a tongue bite, meaning you just stick out your tongue and you gently bite on it, like this. Make sure that your tongue is flat and round, not thick and pointy. Flat and round instead. Or we can go back to that skewer. If you have a skewer, Put that underneath your tongue. Curl your tongue under, lock it in behind your bottom teeth, and do it that way. I'm going to do both so that you can see and hear both. I'm going to start with the tongue bite, though, on this scale. So just stick out your tongue, gently bite on it, or use that skewer. What I'm going to do, because again, I know my larynx tends to go a little wild sometimes, I'm going to actively try and lower my larynx while I am pushing out my tongue, especially in the lower notes down here. So it sounds like this. It gives you a little bit more of that dopey sound compared to. So again, I'm going to focus on pushing my larynx down. You can do whatever feels right to you. So again, keep going here. I'm just, for the sake of demonstrating, going to use my skewer now instead of pushing, biting on my tongue. My larynx really just kind of like squeezing down because of my neck muscles. So I'm going to switch to my tongue bite. One more time. There you go. That was a lot better. So we're on A here, and when we did the flageolet exercise, we went all the way up to E, which is a lot higher than this. Yet even though this is a lot lower here, I'm feeling my muscles wanting to just start to engage. So there you go. That was a lot better. Just, shaking everything loose for me, just using my, just looking side to side, shaking my head really helps for me. You play around with it, whatever feels best for you. But yeah, this tongue bite, or with the skewer in, or even with, paper towels, stretching and holding your tongue as you're doing this. If you're doing the skewer and the skewer keeps dropping, that's a pretty good indicator that there is some tongue tension going on. So really focus on pushing that tongue forward so that it's not trying to retract, which is what makes that skewer drop, okay? So that just means you need to work on releasing tongue tension a little bit more, which is exactly what this exercise is for. So just keep at it, okay? You got it. Alrighty, so far all the exercises that we have done are pretty closed off. And now it's time to start opening up a little bit more. So we're going to do, we're going to start here. Mi, me, ma, mo, mu. We're just going through all the vowels. Mi, me, ma, mo, mu. Keep your jaw relaxed and your face boring. Mi, me, ma, mo, mu. Mi, me, ma, mo. I started finding that mix. One more time. Mi, me, ma, mo, mu. Mi, me, ma, mo, mu. It feels stuck. One more time. Mi, me, ma, mo, mu. It's a little better. Mi, me, ma, mo, mu. Oh, this is is just, again, right over that break. The hardest part in your range, for most people, at least for me. Super high, it's difficult to really get those vowels out, just like me, me, mamo. It turns a little bit more into me, me, mamo. Which is totally fine. You know, we make adjustments as we move through the range. But I like doing this kind of exercise to just start opening up and see how's my voice feeling now that it's a little bit more open. Yeah, today it feels really dry. It just feels really dry, and that's okay. That's where we're at today. That's why we're doing this video today, to know, okay, what can we do to help with this as much as possible? I want to start exploring my belt a little bit and see where we're at with that. So I don't want to start like sustaining notes or anything like that just yet. I want to do like short, explosive kind of staccato exercises to see, okay, what's happening. So today let's do the pop exercise. So pop, pop, pop. So it's literally pop, like you're popping a balloon, right? Pop, pop, pop. Now, if your pitch starts going all over the place when you're doing this, don't worry, that's very normal if you're not used to doing staccato exercises. Staccato meaning short and explosive. So we don't want to go pop, 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 or anything like that. It's pop, pop, pop. It's nice and short. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. So here, instead of moving into like a softer mix, I'm trying to stay a little bit more chest dominant up here, obviously without screaming. Pop, pop, pop. 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 There you go. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop. One more time. That was a burp at the same time. Excuse me. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. I'm feeling my vocal folds getting a little grabby, and you can hear almost like a little fry coming through there. So I'm going to do a quick little on a breathy voice. Pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Nope, not today. That E is not coming out today, which is fine. Just where we're at today. Keep going down. Pop, pop, pop. 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 One more. Pop, pop, pop. So we went all the way up to E. The E wasn't really quite there for me, which is fine. It's really high. But what I can do here if I wanted to is, like do some other exercises, come back to this and see, okay, where are we at now? Does it help at all? But just for the sake of, making sure that this video is not going to be an hour long, it might already be an hour long, but to keep it short, I'm not going to do another belting exercise, but stay here and see, okay, what's happening, but don't do it for too long. Okay. We don't want to overdo it, especially on days where your voice isn't feeling that great. But now what we want to do is like a little sustain exercise, which, oh, sweet baby Jesus, this is where it gets hard. So I like to do this on like a fa, a super bright, a super open kind of sound. Like fa, like apple, but with a fa in front of it. Fa, fa. Actually, we're gonna go fa, fa, fa. Ooh, this is gonna be hard. Ooh, we're not making it easy today. Still feel the phlegm on my vocal folds, like trying to shake loose there. Let's give it a try. Fa, fa, fa. 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 Oh, did you hear that? My tone started changing halfway through because it started getting a little grippy. One more time. Fa, fa, fa. Ah, it starts out great, and then as I'm holding it, it starts gripping. Fa, fa, fa. That was better. Fa, fa, fa. Fa, fa, fa. I don't know if you're watching the video, you can see me kind of like pushing my elbows out. I am doing that to have like a mental image of opening up my throat, because I know my tendency is to just go squeeze inside of my throat and getting those vocal folds together too tightly. So if I'm pushing out my elbows, it can help me feel like a little more open. I know it makes technically no sense. Sorry, where were we? So we're here. Oh, that was a little grippy. I'm gonna try and make it a little more breathy so that I'm using more breath flow. That was better. No, that already started not well. One more time. Hello, vocal cracks. Wasn't that beautiful? One more time. I'm gonna keep going and see what happens. That was better until that very ending there, but one more time. And yeah, I could make this mixier, but I'm trying to explore a more belty sound here on purpose. Just, explore the power in my voice. Where are we at there? And yeah, it's tricky. It is tricky. This exercise is difficult for me either way, when I'm feeling good or when I'm not feeling good, like vocally, whether I have a good day or not a good day. But that's kind of the last thing that I do when I do a vocal warm-up, is seeing where are my sustains at. And again, for me, I just know my tendencies. My vocal folds like to start gripping as I'm sustaining notes. So I'm thinking breathy voice. I'm thinking create space in my throat, and pushing those elbows out. In order to do that, shaking my head no, to make sure that those neck muscles are not engaging, and maybe even working a little bit on lowering my larynx too, to help with that. Before we finish off with a pop song exercise, which is the last step, I do want to go back to that flageolet, because we're just doing a lot of belting, which is a little bit heavier. I want to go back to that sound to see, hiccups, to see where are we at there, and get the voice a little lighter again. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to pause it there. I don't want to go crazy again with it like we did the first time around, but just again to get that stretch back into my vocal folds and release a little bit of that heaviness in my voice. And a last step now, let's do a pop song exercise together. Let's do Watermelon Sugar. This is one of my favorite warm-up style pop song exercises. So without further ado, let's just dig right in. You ready? Let's go. Breathe. just wanna taste it, taste it. Ooh, yeah, oh. Watermelon sugar, ha 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 pie, ha 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 pie. I just wanna taste it, taste it. Ooh, yeah, oh. Watermelon sugar,
Bounce, 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 bounce. Good. Really feel that bounce here in your core.
I just wanna taste it, taste it. Ooh,
Shape your lips. Keep your mouth open here. You shouldn't move too much.
Watermelon sugar, ha 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 pie, ha 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 pie. I just wanna taste it, taste it. Ooh, yeah, oh. Watermelon sugar, ha 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 pie, ha 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 pie. I just wanna taste it, taste it. Ooh, yeah, oh. Watermelon sugar, ha 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 pie, ha 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 pie. I just wanna taste it, taste it. Ooh, yeah, oh. Watermelon sugar, ha 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 pie, ha 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 pie. I just wanna taste it, taste it. Ooh, yeah, oh. Watermelon sugar, ha 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 pie, ha 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 pie. I just wanna taste it, taste it. Ooh, yeah, oh. Watermelon sugar,
Use the H's.
ha ha ha
Good. Here again.
ha 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 pie. I just wanna taste it, taste it. Okay, that is it for our very extensive warm-up. And I definitely feel much better now than I did when we started this warm-up. My voice feels a little lighter. It feels definitely like a lot less heavy, more flexible, and less phlegmy. There was quite a bit of phlegm for me that came up as I was doing this warm-up, but I definitely feel a little dehydrated today in my vocal folds, which is what makes them just a little more stiff today than I would like. But that's okay. I'm just, going through the day with that in mind and not overusing my voice as much as possible. Of course, if you have to play a gig, you gotta do what you gotta do, but just be gentle with yourself. So I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry if you're having a bad voice day. We all get those, okay? Even the pros do, even Beyonce does. We all get those days. It's just important that we figure out what can we do in order to get our voices as normal as possible, right? Like as normal, meaning as close to our regular voice state as possible. So, the better you know your voice, the faster you can get back to that, because you know what works for you and you know what it doesn't really make a lot of sense for you, okay? But that is it for today's episode. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next one.